Timing. What is the most important part to telling a joke? Well, timing is not only important for bad jokes, it's also important for SAT math. My name is Paul Pasolka, Ivy Masters Learning Center and ivymasters.com. Today we're going to look at Test 6, Section 3, Number 12, where I can show you how to identify the correct answer quickly. Number 12 reads, which of the following is equivalent to 4x squared plus 6x over 4x plus 2? So one approach to this, let's say you don't know what to do here. This process is usually long, but you'll see that you could identify the answer really quickly. When you see variables in the answer choices, what you could do is you could pick a number for x. So I want to pick the easiest number for x that's going to distinguish between the answer choices. For this one, I'm just going to make my x equal 1. And so if I plug 1 in for x here, then I wind up with 4 times 1 squared plus 6 times 1 over 4 times 1 plus 2. And what I wind up with is 10 over 6. Okay, so when x is 1, my answer is 10 over 6. Now, when I look at my answer choices, in place of x, I'm going to put 1, and I'm going to eliminate anything that does not give me 10 over 6. Now, here's where the timing comes in. You know that 10 over 6 is not a whole number, so you know a and b are gone. You don't even have to plug them in. And you know 10 over 6 is bigger than 1, so you know it's not C. The correct answer's got to be D without really plugging that x in to answer choice D. If you did plug into answer choice A, you'd see that x is 1. Answer choice B, you'd see that x is 5. Answer choice C, you'd see that your x would wind up being 1 minus 2 over 6, which is 1 minus 1/3, which would wind up being 2/3. And in answer choice D, you would see it would be 1 plus 1 minus 2 over 4 times 1 plus 2. And once you work all the math out, you'd wind up with 2 minus 2 over 6, which would give you 1 and 2/3. And if you took that 1 and 2/3 and change it to an improper fraction, you'd wind up with 5 over 3, which, pump it up, multiply the top and bottom by 2. You wind up with that 10 over 6. There's actually another approach to this. You could do it algebraically. Now, most of the time when students see this type of a question, what they'll do is they'll pull a 2 out of the top, they'll pull a 2 out of the bottom, they'll simplify it, but that doesn't give you the answer. That's why it's important to see the nature of the answer choices. So I'm going to make a little analogy here. Let's say you've got 7 over 2. And your answer choices, in some of your answer choices you see mixed numbers. Remember, every fraction is just a division problem. If I divide 2 into 7, it goes 3 times. When I multiply, I get 6, subtract, I get 1. And then this number goes on top of that number, so it's 3 and 1/2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to do it with these two binomials. And so the bottom, as you saw in the last one, the bottom goes on the outside. If you ever get confused, hey, which number goes on the inside, which number goes on the outside, just think of 6 over 2. You know that that's 3, and you know that 2 goes into 6 3 times, so you know the bottom has to go on the outside. So you get 4x plus 2 on the outside, you get 4x squared plus 6x on the inside. And you have to ask yourself, how many times does 4x go into 4x squared? Another way to say that is, if you put 4x squared over 4x, what would you be left with? And another way to say it is to say, what times 4x will give you 4x squared? Well, it's x. And if you multiply x times 4x squared, you get 4x. X times 4x, you get 4x squared. And then you've also got to multiply that x by the 2, so you get plus 2x. And then just like when you're doing this with numbers, you've got to subtract your result. You got to subtract both of these in this case. Those cancel, and I get 4x over here. Now, how many times does 4x go into 4x? It goes once. So I'm going to put my plus 1. When I multiply, I get 4x plus 2, because I multiply that 1 by 2 as well. And then again, I've got to subtract both of them, and I get negative 2. So my answer is x plus 1, and then remember, this has to go on top of this. So It's hard for me to squeeze in this little space up here, so I'm going to write it down here. X plus 1 minus 2 over 4x plus 2. And you can see that that exactly matches answer choice D. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You can share it with someone who has trouble with this type of a question, just does not know the strategy when there's variables in the answer choices. You could pick numbers, or does not know long division of polynomials, which realistically you don't see so much on the more recent tests. If there's any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT, leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it, and click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Have a great day.